Hey everyone, this is Siddharth Rathod. Today we have a cool guest, Harshad Bhagwat, who is a career coach and a business pro. We are chatting about jobs and how to make a good resume. Is LinkedIn important? Should you focus on networking? We are discussing that too. We are also chatting about how to deal with layoffs. And there's one more thing called ATS. Is it important for the resume shortlisting? We are discussing that too. So if you are looking for answers to all the discussed questions, do watch the entire podcast. If you also want me to discuss any particular questions, do let me know in the comment section. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more such podcasts. So let's start. Hey Harshad, how are you doing?
Hey Siddharth, yes, excited, really excited. We have been talking about coming together on this podcast, but just really excited and looking forward to our new year. Yes.
Yes, even I'm excited to have you on this podcast. So let's start, Harshad, first with your introduction. So over to you, Harshad.
Siddharth, I mean, it's been a while now for me. So, a quick introduction. Let's dive right into the topic for the viewers to get more value from. So, but just of course, for the topic to give the background, uh, Siddharth, I'll be completing 2 years of full time career coaching now. So, last 2 years, I've been helping senior professionals like you uh, to get the best job in the market. And how do you get that? Now we will be reaching 500 professionals in our Career Champions Club. Before jumping into this, I built an edtech company, education technology company. When it was not called as edtech, it was still in 2G, 3G internet. We were not having Zoom. We were not having such great experience. Uh, we empowered more than 14,000 students, professionals online with soft skills. So I was an entrepreneur there, not a trainer, but we built that company from scratch, raised investments, and built that. And interestingly, before that, I worked as a scientist. So you might see that in my answers, I still go deep into things, but I'm an entrepreneur building things and applying strategies. And now, as a career coach, I'm helping people to really become the best versions of themselves so that their company prospers. And India now, biggest vision of Career Champions Club is India is at top 5 now, global GDP. We will soon reach top 3, and it is going to happen within our like next 5 years. Okay, so Siddharth, you and I and our audience is building that India, right? We are directly impacting GDP. When we work
Yes.
better, we bring foreign, let's say foreign dollars, or we export things, we create new jobs. Uh, how can we do this better and faster? That's the big vision of Career Champions Club.
Yeah, your journey has been quite interesting and inspiring from a scientist to a career coach.
Yes, yes. I mean, it was not easy, but I think sometimes it's destiny, sometimes it's the opportunity. I think I would call myself more as opportunist. Whenever I see an opportunity, I jump, uh, even though it not follows with my perception. Let's say, I think it's the opportunity where that matters.
Yes. So, Harshad, let's start with first thing which comes in everyone's mind, resume building. So, when we talk about resume, right? So, how important a resume is for a candidate and what it should consist of at a higher level?
Yes, Siddharth. So, of course, resume is important. It is not going to go away because inside the hiring process, resume is the fastest and shortest way to, take the candidate forward. So, even though they say LinkedIn will take over resume or video resume, I think these are all different versions, unless LinkedIn is important in its own right. But I think resume is the shortest version of you. I think let's look at and see. I think when we were out of college, we thought resume is just like a form you fill. Like we used to appear for exams and we used to fill a form. So there has to be a template. Only one thing is right. If you make anything or if you make a mistake in resume, you are no longer you cannot appear for an interview. I think let's get it out of that mode. Resume, yes, it has some template, but not one template. Okay, it has many templates, but a standard template is we will talk about it. But I think resume, let's look at it as a presentation. Okay, it's like in a shortest way, I'm just telling you what I can do, what I have done before, what are my skills, what is my experience, any certification, what has been my education. So it's the shortest way of telling someone, uh, at least in professional context. And of course, with respect to that, you should not lie on resume, you should not like say things which are not true, of course. But I think don't put too much emphasis on this template or that template. I think let's keep this first, that really knowing what I want to talk about on my resume, and more importantly, what it makes sense to the other person. So resume is not what you want to say, resume is what they want to learn from you or about you. So from that context, I think top of the resume, generally for experienced professionals, should be summary. I mean, below, of course, your name and all that. Summary. If you're a fresher, you don't have anything to say, then objective makes sense. But again, objective is for you, not for the recruiters. So summary is like for the recruiters, telling them in quick snapshot what you can do for them, what your skills are. But you write summary at the last when you're preparing the resume, because it should summarize rest of the resume. Then I think the way I would put, or I would give my students, is use hybrid format. So after summary you put skills, and again those skills should not be what, for example, people put communication skill always, people say problem solving, people say I'm a hard worker. I think those are not the skills which you can measure. You try to put some measurable technical skills, then domain skills. And yes, communication is a skill, but unless your job needs that, I think everybody will have some communication unless you can measure it. So depending on what they want to hear, you have to put those skills. So again, understanding of the job description, understanding of their expectation really matters. Problem solving, for example, is a soft skill. So does your job need that? Is it their top skill? You should be able to showcase that in your experience section also in some way. So again, coming to experience section, I look at experience section as, this is the way I have helped my previous employer. If you are a fresher, then I think in experience section you won't be able to write anything. But that's where I think in these days internships come handy. I think it's, let's not call ourselves freshers. It means that you have nothing really. I think let's have some internships, industry experience to showcase that. Uh, and in experience section, it's better to show output than input. So people say, I worked on that project, I was responsible for handling the team. It is input. So for the next employer, it may not mean anything. Instead, if you say, because of my team leadership, our team could produce this output, we could finish this project within budget, then it would make more sense. So that's the place when power words come. Power words are verbs which are output oriented. And at the later part, I think, depending on what you have to showcase, whether you have 2 3 awards, you can put awards as a separate section. Education is important. If you're a fresher, you can put more things on education section. But if you're experienced, I think education section is just a placeholder for recruiter to know what has been your education. But I think your recent experience, they will count more, of course. And anything you want to say in projects or something, try to keep resume within 2 pages. Again, the reason is they do not have time for that. The reason is not like, uh, there is the standard format and you have to follow it. The reason is how quickly you can tell them why they should select you for the main interviews. Resume never gives you jobs. Resume just helps you get ahead. That much information, I say it's a trailer to the movie. If you don't like the trailer, you will never walk into the theater. So that much should be given, I guess, quickly on the resume. So Siddharth, I'm not a resume writer, I'm a practitioner. So I think that the format might change with respect to individual, but I think the perspective should be, this is the simplest and shortest way to tell them why they should consider me. I think if you can keep that perspective, um, and of course check the basic things of templates, I think my students are getting resume shortlisted. That should not be a big problem.
Yes, like as you mentioned, the impact is more important in the experience part rather than what you did. I think that is one thing which is applicable for everyone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So Harshad, suppose like once we have created the resume, okay, and we have got like many HRs are contacting us. So should we send the same resume to all the recruiters, or we should modify based on the JD and then send it to them?
Yeah, great question, Siddharth. So for experienced people, this may happen that my mentees come to me saying, Harshad, I have done so much. How can I compress that on 2 pages? So my recommendation is when you are starting the resume writing, you put as much you want to put. Okay, let it be your master resume, and you can have it 5 pages also, no issues. But when you're sending it to a particular company, now assuming that you know about the job description, in some cases you don't know, but mostly you can ask for it, or you can ask for, they may not give you in writing, or it is posted somewhere, or they send you a PDF. They may not do that, but at least you can ask what are the things you're looking for, what is the role description, something like this. And I think you should also have some understanding of what kind of roles exist in the market. That's where your research of the market, understanding of the market also comes in. Based on that, you compress your master resume to a customized resume. So customizing always helps because you're helping the recruiter take his or her decision faster, and they are not working for you, they are working for their company. So my full regards to them, but they are not expert in your industry, so you should tell them how you are good at your work in the shortest possible way. So customization does help and always should be done.
Yeah, that makes sense because HR is a non-technical person, right? He or he
Yes,
doesn't know what the job is, so she'll just focus on the keywords which is mentioned in the JD and whatever is mentioned in the resume. If they are matching, they'll shortlist. Otherwise, they won't shortlist.
absolutely, Siddha. So keywords are, we live in the world of data and algorithms now, so that's why keywords matter more these days. But of course, keywords are not just of skills or technical skills. Yes, see, it also depends on, let's say, 0 to 5 years experience. You're going to be an engineer there, individual contributor. Yes, you are rated only on technical skills. But as you go up, you should also know that the same skill at a team lead level has to be modified slightly, and that you can get it from job description actually. And then if you're a technical architect, you're a scrum master, of course you should know the technical know-how, but those are not your main skills now. So depending on that, your skills change. The same skills keywords should be used in experience section also. But as I said, as you go up, your technical skills are only one of the case. Your other skills, your certifications, your industry domain keywords, sometimes they are not your technical keywords, they are domain keywords. And I don't know, the audience may not come only from software background. So if you're a finance person, for example, your domain keywords matter. If you're a manager, your domain keywords are how you manage things, so you need not worry too much on which type of people you manage. So depending on whether it's a functional role or it's a technical role, your keywords change. And sometimes they are just putting, you also have to think about recruiters. If they want a developer but already worked with fintech domain, so will they only put technical development keywords, or will they also put one of the finance keyword? So depending on that, we have to also judge which keywords we want to highlight more. But yes, keywords do matter, but it should not be so. Your writing should not be so bad that it should be just keywords. It's not like SEO, websites made with just with keywords. I think it should make sense. Of course, nowadays algorithms, of course, are not just keywords based. They are trying to make sense of the language also, right? We should assume these things now. So you should write, you should talk to a human. Of course, algorithms will pick it up. And even humans try to pick up keywords, right? When you do not, I mean, listeners now will not listen to my entire sentence. They are busy doing something at the time listening to this podcast. They will pick up keywords only. So
Yeah, that's true. So, Harshad, now help me understand like what is ATS and how important it is for resume shortlisting.
I think enough is said about ATS. I think it is important, of course. uh, of course, it's a tool, right? It's a software they use to screen and actually manage their work effectively. But of course, it also helps them screen candidates faster. I think there is nothing like ATS is separate than recruiter. All I think about it is, yes, there are things like it is more keywords dependent. It is more dependent on parsing. So make sure you use standard template. You do not, I think these days, especially software developers try to be very creative on their resume. I think resume is not a place where you need to be creative. I think if you want to showcase something, I would rather recommend you do it in interviews. Okay, not on your resume. Just trust that ATS is just an algorithm. It will not read, let's say, graphs, for example. It will not read Netflix or UI type resumes, like people. I think they're all good to attract attention, but I think they may not work. They may work well in interviews when you're actually presenting. And back in the day, I also had a presentation kind of portfolio made for interviews. And at that time, you have all the opportunity to be creative. And resume, I think, just trust. You have to understand ATS. That is an algorithm based, keyword based, parsing based, making sure you use standard templates, and make sure ATS, just like recruiters, is going to gauge your resume with respect to job description. So how well you can match with, if you don't know their job description, at least uh, mota moti, industry based, your understanding of job descriptions. Yes, it will help. Yes, there are tools now for that. There are many tools. They give you different scores because the actual ATS never opens its algorithm to us, because it's like their proprietary thing as well. I think let's stick to basics here. Let's stick to more keywords based, passing based, and experience, making sure you try to match with the algorithms. And I think you will be able to do fine once you do these basic things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So since we talked a lot about the resume, let's come to another aspect of that, LinkedIn. So how
Yes.
important it is for a job search?
I mean, of course, it's the. I mean, I would put it as the main thing. Uh, People are shifting away from standard job portals. I think again at at a junior level, job portals do better. Just see that. I mean, on Naukri.com, you put 0 to 1, you get X number of jobs. Suppose you put 1 to 2 or 1 to 5, you get X by 2 or X by 10, and you put 5 plus, you get hardly 1% of X. So that sharp decrease in number of jobs which are posted online, but it doesn't mean there are no jobs. So there are countless openings which are there, which come on LinkedIn, not jobs. They search for you on LinkedIn, just like they search for you on Naukri using their database. So I think today we live in attention economy. Let's be very honest about it. This is an old phenomena where there is an opening like a notice board and we would apply there. I think this is an old phenomena. Today, they are searching for good candidates than you reaching out to them. Okay, so maybe you can put it like 70% of your calls should be inbound, that you have posted your best resume on Naukri and your best LinkedIn profile on LinkedIn, and they are reaching out to you saying, I saw your profile and do you want to apply here? I think that is the best thing. That's where LinkedIn helps. LinkedIn also helps you understand the job market, understand what others are doing. So suppose audience here, you should check Siddha's profile and learn from what is he doing, and is this your target job? Same way you can check other profiles. You can reach out to your college friends and learn from them, connect with them indirectly. When you connect with one LinkedIn uh, person, it opens their network, right, that way. So this is the way networking works. So learning about market, reaching out to people, and of course knowing who are the talent acquisition managers, who might be hiring managers or your potential boss. So I think LinkedIn is a best database these days. How do we make use of it? And of course, LinkedIn is also a place where you present your best professional image. And if you see me, like I try to post every day on LinkedIn. I'm little lazy for last 3 months, but this is my new year goal now. Like I should be active on LinkedIn every day, and that really it's the best ROI you can say on your efforts.
Yeah. So when you say you post every day, So, does writing articles, posts on LinkedIn help us to get a job?
I think again it depends on how. Say, I think for juniors it may not help that much, or it. I would say I'm not against posting, but it is not easy to get good post. Okay, and I see many chat GPT posts. I think it is a very lazy way of doing things.
Mhm.
uh, I mean, if you ask me, I think with 95% accuracy I'll be able to recognize if it's a chat GPT post. Okay, literally, I mean, I think we are good at pattern recognition. I think we are unnecessarily thinking about AI too much. We have the best brain AI here. Okay, so we can make out. So I think it's a lazy way. If you cannot write well, don't write. Okay, it's fine. Okay, simple thing is to, you can share someone else's post, you can share industry article, you can share a PPT. For example, many of my students put PPT like thing. You can make a simple carousel type post, you did not write too much, and you can write a flow chart. I mean, you can just say step 1, step 2, step 3, and all engineers are good at that. So writing does help in presenting yourself. Even if you do not get those many views as our influencer friends do not worry about it. You need one job. For that you need 5 recruiters to find you, right recruiters, and for that you need those many views. I think uh, I recommend my senior professionals write on LinkedIn, because at their level, so let's say 10 plus years, 15 plus years experience, you have a broad profile. Only your skills do not matter, your experience matters more, and that experience is also very difficult to showcase on resume. So their industry knowledge, their specific stories of how they dealt with people, how they manage difficult projects, how they manage difficult customers, all these stories are actually better written on LinkedIn. So one of my student recently, his video will come on my YouTube channels just next week, where he consistently posted on his pharma domain on LinkedIn, his own domain, and he used to get 10-20 likes, but all his likes were specific to his domain, which is more important. And his ex colleague used to see him active on LinkedIn, and when he had an opening, he reached out to him. So LinkedIn helps you be present in people's minds. But if you cannot write, don't attempt at it. Build a better profile. I think your profile is the foundation. Writing on LinkedIn is the best thing. In between, what all of us should do is commenting on good posts. Okay, that is the simplest way to be active. LinkedIn is not more or likes based. LinkedIn is more comments based, as opposed to Instagram is more love thing based rather than comments. See, in Instagram, you don't put, I mean, by the time you put comment, you are on to the next reel, you're on to the next post, right? On LinkedIn, people do spend more time on fewer posts, and rather than scrolling, then they put comments, or they should put comments. And LinkedIn will reward you by showing your comment to your connections, showing your comment to that post, the person who has posted connections, and that way you get more visibility. And my students, when they are very active on LinkedIn, even on posting, commenting way, they see the profile views increasing steadily. So I think let's focus on more profile views. One way is building a very best profile, so that they LinkedIn reaches, or recruiters can reach you. Middle way is commenting very good comments. Okay, I mean, something detailed comments, not just okay, thank you or something. Nobody will reward you for that. And then the last way, or the best way, is writing, which do help, but do not write for likes and comments. Write for presenting yourself. And I'm talking about job seekers here. uh, when you say influencers building personal brand, the goals are different. Okay, we are all talking about getting highlighted and getting views from specific recruiters to your domain. That's what I think. Let's be very focused on our ROI. I mean, very focused on our goals.
Yeah, I agree with you because if you're in a banking domain and if you're posting on a pharma domain, it doesn't make sense, right? Because you want a job in the banking domain. So posting on a relevant topic is more important for a job seeker.
Absolutely. And sometimes the people you follow, suppose they are all influencers, they are talking about generic topics which are motivation based, personal development space. Yes, they are important, and you can comment on them. But you should also know that, as you said, you're a finance professional. So based on your core finance, there will be some, may not be influencers, but there will be many people who are maybe, or even companies who are posting something. Commenting on them will attract better audience. I think, see, we all have to understand the social media is an ocean. We cannot reach out to entire ocean. We are a small island there. We want to just make sure our island is of the people who I want to attract. you know that's the
Yeah,
game of social media.
correct. Yeah. So yeah, so we talked about resume, we talked about LinkedIn. So anything else apart from this? So anything else apart from this, a candidate should focus on for getting a job?
I think, Siddharth, what we are missing out mostly in the, see, resume and LinkedIn is a standard thing to talk about, right? Everyone
Mm.
will know it in the audience. Everyone must have done something. But of course, go check out both of our profiles on LinkedIn. You will see and see that your profile is also, you have made it over time very well. So check that. I think we should know about job market first. Okay, really. I think we all have to understand we live not alone. We live in an economy, and even if you're outside India, wherever you are, you should know that economy, even local economy, let's say Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, the jobs are different. And when you talk about all over the world, the economies are different. So which jobs you are targeting, and this is especially true for 5-year plus jobs, and then building resume, LinkedIn for those jobs matter more. Okay, so I think we should keep on learning about what's happening out. And earlier times, see, this skill I think we all have to learn since pandemic more. See, 10 years back, people would change jobs maybe 7 years later, and industry would change over 10 years. Nowadays, industry is changing every 3 years. And soon we will get into a situation where some of the jobs are evolving very fast, maybe over a year. So, are we knowing which jobs exist in the market? What are they looking for? Otherwise, you are just wishing for a job. Let's just be very with knowing about which jobs we want to target. And I think that research is very crucial. Again, don't say I don't know. I think we all have access to data. Data is available on two places. One is LinkedIn and industry news. Another one is with people. So talk to Siddharth if you are, let's say, in testing domain. Reach out to him. That way. Talk to him. Right? What are the jobs available? What should I do? And you'll be amazed that if you reach out to 10 good people in the right way, 2 3 of them will help you, and that is a crazy ratio, I would say. Networking, even if you reach 10%, you are doing really well. And I think this network should stay with you. So if you reach out to Siddharth, make sure you reach out to him again after 6 months, again after 1 year. I'm also trying to. So this morning I had a meetup with my coach's friends. Okay, so that way, and I'm learning from them. What are you doing in your community? What do you think, about next year? That way. So we have to learn from each other in networks, and target right
Correct.
jobs, and then all these techniques will work better.
Yeah. Otherwise, this won't work.
You're targeting the wrong jobs. See, I think one of the main thing people come to me saying, Harshad, I'm not getting any interview calls, or I'm getting wrong calls. I'm getting lower level offers. The reason is your presentation online on resume on LinkedIn is attracting those. So it also means you don't know what is the right job for you. Once you know that, then keywords, you will know which keywords, you will know what are their expectations. So everything follows later. I think aim at the right target, then you will know how to reach there.
So, Harshad, suppose if I get a call from a company, so how to research whether the company is good or not? One thing you mentioned, like connect with the people of that company. Any other thing we can do?
I think, Siddharth, what is good or not, it differs, right, with respect to individuals. Some people will look for uh, work or salary. Some people will look for some work-life balance, or how is the manager, how is the culture. and culture is the least understood and very vague concept. And nowadays we have this Glassdoor type, review system, which is opening things up for all of us. But again, if you check Glassdoors, you will see 5-star reviews, and you will also see 1-star reviews in the same company. So that also is not the, and it will be true for all companies. If you see, right, no company will have all 5-star reviews, and no company will have all 1-star reviews. So then, it's a one of the input. Let's take that input. But I think you should talk to people as well at the same time. And also, third thing is, during interviews, you have the ability to ask questions, right? And depending on the person in front, you can ask the right question. So let's say culture related questions you should ask to the HR person. But if you're, let's say, you get interviewed by a person who is your probable boss or 2 levels above you, you can ask work related questions. How is the work like? What is your vision? How is this product developed? Or, who are target customers for your product? Like product related questions. That way you should judge actually. But of course, people network, does help in these cases. Again, at managerial level, people do care about culture. How is the environment like? Because otherwise you will not be able to manage people if environment doesn't support you. In pure technical jobs, you should just know about the technologies they use. You shouldn't just know about how they work, what, like. So depending on what you want to know, I think there are 3-4 possibilities of, or 3-4 channels of getting good information. Nowadays I think information is not the problem, where to find. And I think I think, don't you think we are bombarded with information? I think
Yes.
problem is finding right information, right? I
Mm.
think that is the bigger problem. And why are we doing this podcast? See, don't you think there are enough videos online, I mean, on this? So I think people would want to know the right information. So that is a bigger challenge today.
Yeah. One interesting point you mentioned, like in interview, you can ask the questions. Like people think, okay, interview is the other person is going to ask us question, and we just have to answer it. We can't ask question, but even we can ask them question like, okay, what are the things I'm going to get? What are the skills I'm going to work upon? What are the technologies I'm going to work upon? So I think in that also we can focus more on getting to know what I'm
Yes.
like, what I'm going to get in the future.
And you're inside the company. Let's say it's a physical interview. Even if it's an online interview, sometimes you also get to know the way they behave with you, for example, even in online. And yes, you have to, but ask good questions, and at the right time as well. Okay, in the sense, don't ask very immature questions. I think it's better to go prepared and ask questions which will also help you present yourself better. They should like that question, that, oh, good that you're asking. It means that you're interested in this job. You know what we do. You have come prepared with our, I mean, don't ask question about the information which is publicly available. For example, who are your customers of your product? It might be available on their website with names. I think you should ask, when I saw that the case study on your website, I'm curious how they use this, that way. Or let's say about technology, this technology has evolved. I'm curious whether you are evolving with that. So that is something that you won't find in public domain. Then it's a good question. So don't ask obvious questions. Don't ask questions which are public domain. Ask questions which show your your curiosity about your probable, I mean, your next work. And also ask questions which are customized for that specific company, product, technology, and that will add to your credibility also in the interviews.
That makes sense. So, suppose there is a job opening and a candidate come across that opening. So, how he should apply for that? Are there any effective job strategies he can apply?
Yes, of course. Siddharth, see, when an opening is there online, it's already posted. You also have to also understand, they are not only depending on that opening or that job portal. They also have given it probably to consultants. Their company recruiters are also searching, and Nowadays, even on their career portals, it is online. So I think we can use all of them. So make sure you apply to that on that job portal the way they want you to apply. That is the only the basic thing. Do you know who is the talent acquisition manager or recruiter for that particular position? Do you know? Can you find that out on LinkedIn? Can you guess who could be a similar person in that company? Do you know any college? I mean, your college friend working in that company? Do you know your ex colleague working in that company? Then can you make sure your profile, or let's suppose this job, not just this job, is perfect for you. Does your resume targeted towards that, so that maybe there are other openings also of similar kind, you will get inbound? When you apply, can you make sure you also reach out to the recruiter on LinkedIn? Can you make sure you also reach out to your college friend who is working in that company? So there are multiple ways you have to encircle that opening, actually, to make sure you get found by them. Because the last thing you want is, I mean, these days you don't send physical resume, but literally your resume to get trashed, right? The last thing you want is nobody looks at your resume. So how to make sure you get found, you at least get a look? What are the ways? Now think like this, that way I'm saying, think like what are the ways to get found more than just on job portal.
So that's why networking can help us, right? If we know someone, he can refer for that job as well, right? And referral works faster than directly applying to a particular job.
It has so happened that, let's say on day zero, let's say in the morning, you get an opening. My student has reached out to a college friend in the same company saying there is an opening. Inside, he got referred, not just referred, he got uploaded to career portal and also sent his resume to the right person. And right person means this person was not knowing who is the right person, was knowing the department. Okay, so there are a lot of ambiguities there. By I think 2 days, this job portal received 500 applications, but still this person could get the first call. Now, do you think anyone who has gone through those 500 applications? No, that person is a human, wants to get his or her job done faster. So if someone has referred inside, they may at least take a look rather than these 500 unknown applications. So, but of course, all of these things should work in tandem. You don't know which one will work. Okay, it's all statistical, it's all probability based, it's all still human, way. So use all of them. That's what I would say. Use multiple strategies. And then, Siddharth, what happens is after few days, my students get to know LinkedIn is working more. So for some of my students, LinkedIn, not jobs, LinkedIn profile is working very well. She's getting few profile views, but she's getting calls. And there is one student who is getting zero profile views on Naukri. You cannot believe he's getting zero. He has utmost optimized link is on the resume, but he's not getting any calls. Okay, so but he now knows where to focus. Okay, and there are, like, for some people, I just upfront tell them that yes, there is a job, you apply, but focus a lot on networking. Just go, I mean, start with networking from today, so that whenever there is an opening, you already have the network.
Correct.
And I think if we have freshers in front of us, I think, just reach out to your college alumni. You're 2 years, 2 years older than you. They have already reached some place, they have already got a job, they might have moved out to the Bangalore, Delhi, like that. So those are the best people, and they will, call them older brother, like that, and try to talk to them, try to talk maximum. I think this is something we are missing out, this alumni relations. I think most colleges do not invest in alumni network. But I think LinkedIn, you can bypass your college, you can directly reach out, and you can do it in third year, fourth year itself, to know which certifications you want to take, in fourth year itself. You can just have those older brothers, like 10, 15 of them already made.
The reason is like most people focus on networking is just to get a job, not to understand the other people. So I think that's where the problem comes up.
That's why I said older brother, like, don't say, okay, just refer me. Tell me what you're doing in your job. What are the certifications you did? What does your boss do? And take it as one input, get another input, and then uska average kar lo. Like, don't just focus on one input also, because that input might be based on his or her experience. You want more balanced view, so take as many inputs as possible and try to guess. I think, as I told you, it's a wealth of information already available. It's like, how can we decipher that?
So, Harshad, when we are giving an interview, one thing we already talked about is asking questions. Anything else a candidate should take care of while giving an interview?
I think win first 2 minutes. I think its first impression does matter, and this is where any algorithm won't. Humans will remain humans. First impression. I think, what you will say in 2 minutes. Go prepared, with a quick 30 seconds, 45 minutes, 45 seconds. What we call elevator pitch. Go prepared with their job description or what that company does, and try to say I mean, indirectly, that this I'm matching with what you're looking for. I've already done similar work in the past. Try to include that part. I think, when I did I mean, I was on candidate side. I think what you can do is try to guess which things you want to highlight, and make sure they are highlighted in the first 2 minutes, so that the rest of the interview probably will go your way. They'll ask,
Mhm.
okay, tell me more on that, tell me more on that. Because, Siddharth, the reality of hiring is that the interviewer on the other side is not prepared. Many times, sadly, they don't come prepared for the interviews. They directly get into a call, and then they analyze your resume, I mean, in online. Second is, they are not trained for taking interviews. Again, it's a sad reality. This happens inside my community. I have managers who take interviews every day. I ask them, did someone train you for that? They said no. So we are talking about a very unstructured process, very, very subjective process of interviewing. So you should make sure you present your best there, and there will be rejections even after this. Siddharth, how many interview calls you can generate? The game is of numbers. Of course, right interview calls,
Mhm.
appropriate or relevant calls. I mean, so someone tells me, Harshad, I got rejected there yesterday. I said, analyze and generate one more call. How many calls did you generate last week? I think more. And sometimes some people say that first three interviews was like my practice for me.
Mhm.
So that, someone from my community, she got placed. I mean, from Nokia, she is now getting placed to other companies. She already has three offers. She said the first three interview rejections actually helped me kind of wake up, because it's been a long time. She's in Nokia for many years, so first time she's waking up, kind of thing. Yeah, she's giving interviews after a long time, and these rejections helped her analyze herself better, practice for interviews, and then the next interview she could crack. So sometimes, take every experience as a learning experience also, because it is going to happen some interviews, because it may not be rejecting you, they are rejecting your profile. So they are not
Mhm.
feeling that, you're good, you're right. So that can also happen, or they have something else in mind. Many of my candidates get rejected saying, अच्छा तो उनका मतलब they didn't know what they're looking for. So after interviews, they realize, I don't want this. And I was putting that on my resume. Still, they said, I don't want this. So why did they do that? I said, they are unstructured, they are not trained. Go to the next interview as fast as possible. I'm talking about, let's not talk about perfect world. This is a real world we live in. So let's be
Yeah.
realistic, practical about it.
And at last, we just need one job, right?
Exactly. Just go as many. You need to crack one interview. You need to convince one boss that I'm the right person for your team.
Yeah. So one question I think you also must be listening from your community members, like how to negotiate salary. Whenever a HR reaches out for a job opening and contact us, so they ask us for the salary range, right? So how we can negotiate salary after that as well in the interview process?
See, that the most difficult part of hiring process, and the most, I would say, very subjective part. Also depends on the See, I, for example, in IT, last 2 years, it so happened that people were getting crazy salary because the demand was very high, supply was very less. So that is also one factor. There are many times the demand might not be there. So they will say, I have other candidates, that way. I think, Siddharth, like, let's talk about the foundation here. You can only negotiate when they want you. Okay. So, first of all, you should be really good at presenting yourself on resume and convincing them on interviews. I think without that, don't even think about renegotiation. Okay, because they will say, I have other candidates. And if you are not first candidate to get selected, or sorry, top candidate, if you are third and fourth, they have already, got rejected by multiple and then they are taking you. So I think let's focus on more on this. These tactical things, uh, yes, they ask for salary, but then if I don't reveal, what should I do? I think these are very case dependent. These are also dependent on, see, for example, you're always getting lower level salary offers. I think it's better to reveal salary because some of my managers, mentees get that problem. Otherwise, you will end up going through interviews and you will realize that they do. I have hardly half the budget. But if you are getting right level of jobs or right calls, it is better not to reveal, saying that I'm looking to first see how the role is and take it till the end and then really negotiate and really get maximum. So some of my mentees have got, I mean, even you, right, you got like really good hike, but of course you negotiated it well. But suppose that you were getting lower level offers all along, what negotiation skill will you use to take them their budget 2x? It cannot be done. If they said, I think that I don't think you are good for, I mean, you are, I'm not sure, but my client is after me, there is no, I mean, there are 5 other candidates, so let me check. Then they might not even negotiate with you. They will say, this is my budget, you come or go, I have other candidates. So it also depends on how hot you are in the market. I think let's focus first on being the hottest in the market, and hottest not just overall market, that company. Okay, you should be the right person at the right time also. Yes.
Yeah. So, if a candidate is getting multiple offers, so can he do a counter offer in the any of the company? If yes, what is the better way to do that?
I mean, it's amazing if you're getting multiple offers. It doesn't happen with everyone, but it shows that you're hot in the market, right? That's my point is. Yes, of course. I mean, from company side, yes, I would say, I mean, you're, but of course, from candidate side, if you're getting good, yes, of course you should. But also, don't just be on offer side. Okay, don't be just greedy. Don't be just on total salary side. Also check the structure. That is one. Second thing is also check the company. Is there any, like what are you looking for other than money? Okay, so many times you it may not match. And I have some people who want other things from the company also, from some flexibility, for example, even hybrid mode, so at least know top 3 4 requirements you are looking for, and you can negotiate on them as well. So you can select one company which is giving slightly lower level offer than the other company, but is giving you hybrid model which you want. Maybe, I think let's look at offer negotiation than salary negotiation. Let's get more offers first so that you can negotiate. And yes, there is the way to do it, but don't be always greedy. I think don't look at short term, also look at building a career, not a job. This, I mean, you should stay in the company. I'm not being old school saying you should be loyal, nothing like it. I think you should stay in the company to build a career out of it. There are a lot of opportunities you get within the company also many times. So getting to right company, right culture, right boss also. Many times people grow in their career because of the right boss. Okay, really, it just allows you to work, grow, or take you with him or her, like that. If grows, you grow. Actually, I'm seeing so many examples where they just followed one boss, or they just found the right company to grow. And growth can be different for everyone, right? So I think know your parameters of negotiation, top 3 parameters, and negotiate on whole.
Yeah, because people just focus on the salary part. Okay, if I'm getting more salary, I'll go to that company. But as you mentioned, focusing on what things you need if you're getting from one company, and even if they're offering less, I think you can go with that option.
Yes, and of course, depending on what you have researched about that company, and of course, at fresher level, let's say you will go for the best, salary.
Mm.
Again, up to 0 to 3, your mindset is like, I want maximum money, and that is great. You don't have any other thing, you don't have any family, you don't have, you just want a best offer. So that's great. So again, your requirement is just money right now, but at older stage, you want other things also. So, it's good to know that.
Yeah. So, Harshad, like most people are looking for a career change, like they're planning to come from non-IT to IT. So,
Yes.
what advice do you give to them, like if they're considering a major career change?
It's not easy. Career change is not easy. It is long. I'm not saying to scare people. I have done 2 career changes. This is my third career, but it needs commitment to little long term, because you have to change your skills. Your resume is in old career. You have to make sure your resume looks like a new career. Sometimes your skills are, sometimes your personality also doesn't match with the new career. Sometimes you don't have network also in the new career, so you have to build your network also. You don't know what IT companies do really, which types of IT companies are there. You just know TCS, Infosys because they come in papers, but there are so many good IT companies which never come in papers. They never have the brand, but they are doing fabulous work. They give more salary than the main IT companies. So you don't know the market. So you have to make that shift. I think first step or the zero step of career change is talking to people in the next career, because don't get into glamour mode of IT. I mean, IT has both sides. There are low paying jobs also in IT, and there are crazy paying jobs also in IT. There are really good companies, and there are companies who are not, I mean, who are laying off at the same time. We are getting so many layoffs in IT. So I think choosing, and make sure your career change is your long term choice. It's like for 10 years you are going to work in that next career, then only do that change. Otherwise you will do half your current career will also be no longer useful for you. Another thing is transferable skills. Also make sure one of my mentee wanted to shift to data and his career was in finance. So we kind of chose types of companies and types of jobs where his finance plus his new data analytics skills will add, and A plus B will become C actually. So that way he could get a job faster. So there is definitely a career change roadmap. So that's why I say in my webinar also there is a game plan for each one of the case. I think it's better to follow that game plan, but start with knowing the next career first, and then commit to it for long term.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned about the layoff, and recently we are hearing so many news about layoff. So, in this scenario, how can an individual search job? Like, apart from the things which we discussed, anything different he can do in this scenario?
I mean, you're asking for a person who got laid off.
Yes, like who got laid off, and in this scenario also, right? People are looking to switch jobs, but due to layoffs happening, the jobs are also getting less, right? So, in this scenario, how he can approach the job market?
Yes, and again, Siddharth, you see layoffs have a pattern. Okay, let me tell you, layoff is called as a lagging indicator. Lagging means it you get to know when it happens, but there are leading indicators. Let me be very honest with you. If you are getting laid off, I mean, you means a person, he should have sensed that 3 months back, honestly. May not be personally, but at least something is happening inside the department, inside that project, inside the company. At least that, sensing that I think things are not going well. Maybe I don't know whether I will get laid off or my next person, or whether it will happen with my project or someone else's. But at least in large enough companies, things do not happen over a day. They look like it happened over a day because it came out suddenly, but at least sense that. I think all of us should be prepared. No one is layoff proof. I think all of us should
Yeah.
be prepared, that we constantly have our LinkedIn brand ready. You know, we should constantly have our network ready. That even if I'm about to get laid off, maybe because my company is laying off, so I don't know whether I'll be next, or I got laid off, my preparation has already started. So I already know what's happening in the market. I already have resume LinkedIn ready. I already have made some network. Let me start. So I think preparation. Let's not. I think no one is layoff proof. We all will have failures. Uh, also, don't take it personally. So one of my student got laid off from a very very large company. He was at AVP level. But Siddharth, you'll be so amazed. He has not taken it personally. He's saying it's fine. I mean, of course, for a few days he must have felt terrible, but he could get out of it so fast, and he focused more on action very fast. And of course, it's a waiting game for him because his industry is not hiring new people now. Uh, Hopefully, in the coming year, after Jan, things look better for him. But he's in the race. He's in, he's doing things faster. So if you're getting laid off, if you already got laid off, don't take it personally. Go and find next job fast. I think somehow people don't do enough efforts. That's what I feel. I think it's enough to complain about market. Is it in your and my hand? We need one job, so just go fast on getting that.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned is like about personal branding. So, how important to consider personal branding in getting a job?
I think we talked about it, right? I think it's all about inbound jobs better.
Mm.
um you know but personal brand cannot be built over a day or over a month also, right? It's like it takes some time. So yes, it is important, but it takes time also. So start today. I think even if you are in a happy job, all of should be ready, because I don't see job search as a job search that I need a job. I see job search as an opportunity search, that I'm in an opportunity, I'm doing well in my company, and I may be happy, I do not want, but something new opportunity comes up. At least I should be knowing about it. At least I should be visible. I may not choose it. That's fine. Don't go about shopping, but at least you should be hot in the market. I think let's all be that. I think why depend on job portals? Why depend on someone laying off then finding a new job? And you keep on searching for opportunities. And I think what you're doing today, Siddharth, without, I mean, there is no need, right, for you to have this YouTube podcast. There is no
Yeah.
immediate need. This is your long term investment in building up. So let's do that.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah. So, Harshit, just the last final advice. Like, do you want to give any advice to the profession, like what they should do, what they think about, like any final advice to them from your side?
I think what we haven't covered is the confidence part of it. I think what I really see when I meet people is people just lack confidence in their own abilities. If I ask them what you don't have, they will give me 10 answers. That I don't have MBA from top college, my parents did not send me to good school, whatever, and they will have all the complaints about external world. My boss was not good, that's why I could not grow. My company was this, so I did not get hike, whatever. But if I ask them what do you do best, the way they will articulate will be very shallow. I think just understanding yourself very well, being very very confident about what you can do for the companies, there will always be ample jobs. Because say that we are talking from job seekers perspective, if you just type in skill gap, talent gap, if you see LinkedIn report which sends it to employers, they always complain about talent gap. Means what? They don't get good people.
Mhm.
So India is a growing economy. What are we complaining about? We are complaining about we don't know, I don't know myself enough, to get the right job. So I think just know yourself well, There are assessments, there are assessments for that. And also build that confidence every day, because I think job search is all about putting yourself confidently, whether it's on resume, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's in a podcast like this, whether it's on interviews. I think confidence is something which is lacking with many good, capable people actually.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, we focus on the external factors, not on the internal factors which we have.
And the things which we don't have, we focus on that rather than the things we
Yeah,
already have, we have already built over time.
correct. Yeah,
So be confident about that, but of course be learn, I mean, ready to learn the new things, of course, but be confident about what you have.
yeah.
So I say there is a
Yeah.
job for each one. I think just just find
You have
that.
to find it out. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Uh, Harshad, it was really interesting to speak with you regarding all the things. Really was excited to have you on this podcast, and it was a great session for me. So thank you so much for giving your time for this podcast.
Lovely having being here, Siddharth. You asked the great questions. I hope our time is to empower or to help other people. Um, yes, of course. I mean, and Siddharth, is like knowledge sharing, right? If we have the
Yes,
knowledge, we should share it. So great intention you are having, and my best wishes that this new year your YouTube subscribers will double, triple, 10 times, 100 times. So my best wishes for your podcast.
correct. Because this gives me motivation. Because if even one person gets help from this, I think this
Perfect.
podcast is successful for us.
Yes, yes. Amazing intention. Yes. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Harshad.
Bye. Bye, Siddharth. Thank you
Bye.
for having
Yeah.
me.